This drum's going to need to come off because I want to tune the resonant head, the bottom head. What I want you to see here is, unlike most drums, we have an internal mic system. So I'm just going to unplug that. And this was done professionally. These drums came out of a studio, a recording studio in Luzerne, Pennsylvania, which is odd because that's actually where I'm from originally. And I've gotten several things out of Pennsylvania that just kind of happened. But this this internal miking system is really neat. I would not attempt to do it myself. This is a little trick that we use, especially with having the internal mics, and we use these internal mics when we play live as well. I mean, sound people love us. But we put a few cotton balls in here, and they bounce around on the resonant head, and that keeps it from getting a lot, like too many undertones. Doesn't really mute it at all. I mean, you have a wonderful ringing tone. It just doesn't ring for too long. You can hear this a little out of tune. We don't want that. So let's tune it up a little. And that's how I do it. I go around and see what sounds bad. Every drum will have a frequency that it sounds best at. And that's what I try to do. You can try to tune it to notes or a specific gauge. You can use a gauge. I do not. And I have tuned to notes before, but again, you want to keep a drum within what sounds best for its size. I like to have the resonant head the same tension or a little looser than the batter head, the top head that you hit. That way you have more play, have more stick attack when you're hitting the head. If you have this, for instance, like really really tight, you have to have a really loose batter head. You don't have the replay, the rebound, excuse me, that I think is good. That's just about where we want to be. Getting this a little. We're pretty close. Okay, I think that's about what I want. And I know it's not coming through great on that microphone, but it's pretty even. So I'm going to hang this, the way I do it anyway, I hang this back up. Kenny used to have a snare stand that he used on his rack tom, and I gotta say it's a little bit harder to do it back then. So I like using the stand. It's much easier for me. All right, brand new Remo Emperor Clear. I love these heads. I love the tone. They ring so nicely, and they're easy to bring into pitch. They take a lot of abuse. You know, everybody has their own favorite type drum heads. You use something different, you're not wrong. Everybody has what's right for them. So that's not where I'm going, but Remo has treated us as a band and Kenny as a drummer really well over the years. Not by giving us heads. I mean, we buy our heads, but I mean they last as long as I think a drum head can. I would say a drum head's life can only be so long in the best of conditions, even if you're a really light hitter. But Kenny he's a pretty hard hitter, and by that it's not like he doesn't have finesse. That's not what I mean. But he does have a firm attack. Nothing better than having brand new heads. They just look so nice until the end of practice. then they look bad again. But they'll sound good for months usually. Like I say, we get at least a couple months out of them. Drum heads I know aren't always cheap. I mean, depending on what you consider cheap, but it's well worth changing heads. I mean, even this is a wonderful drum kit. I mean, you know, it's top of the line Tamick. Neil Peart used Superstars. Actually, he used Superstars. This color is Super Mahogany. His first kit that he used from Tama was Super Mahogany Superstars, and then he switched to the Cherry. But I think that any drum, regardless of cost or quality even, will benefit from good heads. I mean, you can make a bad drum sound really good with new heads. It's well worth changing them. They come out to be, I have discovered, right around, you know, like $1 an inch. So, bigger drums you play, the more expensive the heads are. And that's standing away from specialty type heads and things, but we like the Emperors. They're 2-ply, so they take quite a bit of abuse, and that also helps. You know, 2-ply helps with it ringing too much and with undertones. 1-ply heads are awesome. We use all 1-ply heads as the resonant heads. Generally, I think it's the Ambassadors, Remo Ambassadors. Yeah, for most of them. Although this snare head is an Evans, it's what it came with as the resonant. But there's no reason to change it. It's fine. So, and I know Evans heads are great. That's not where I'm going. We just usually try to stay consistent. And again, I'll try to bring this into pitch as low as I can first. And then we'll just tighten it up from there. And at this point, since they're all tightened up, I'm just going to go around. It's all pretty even. So I'm going to try to turn it evenly, and then I will fine tune it after I get it about where I want it. Now again, you can't speed the process up much, and it just takes time. It takes time to bring it, you know, put heads on and to bring a drum into tune, but it's well worth it. It's well worth it. It's getting there. That's not a bad sound though. And I am tuning this a little towards the high end because we're going to be doing some recording. So the high end of what sounds good with this drum, it just comes through better when you record. Happy with that. And again, we want it to ring because it sounds really good in the mix. going to keep it like that for now, and see if I have to tweak it a little bit when Kenny plays it. Let it stretch a little bit. Pretty happy with that sound. Move on to the 18. Same thing there. Okay. That one's not as bad as the other two, but sometimes I'll keep one around just as a backup. In case if any emergency, I don't know if I'm going to keep any of these around. So this 18 is a beast. It's a little bit of a challenge. These cymbals I hit constantly are mostly all Zildjian A cymbals. We use all A or A custom. The hi-hats are A custom. Except we got this Sabian cymbal. It's an AA. It's a signature model. I don't even know what the signature model is. I'm sorry, but it sounds so good. We just needed a cymbal really quickly, and it was available. And never had to use Sabian. We always use, like I say, A or A custom Zildjians. Kenny generally goes with an 18-inch crash over here, a 14-inch, which we call a splash because of the way he kind of hits with his big sticks. This is a 22-inch ride that's I just love. Right now he has a 16-inch thin crash, a Zildjian here, and sometimes he uses an 18 here too, but right now that's what he's using. And again, these are the A custom Master Sound hi-hats, which just sound incredible. All right, so we do a lot of weird things with the stands. It's much easier, we don't have roadies and stuff, so if we can make it easier for us to carry, we will. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. I'm not going to do anything to it. As you can see, just like the 14-inch tom and the kick drum, which you didn't see, it's also internally mic'd. Now, I'm keeping the exact same amount of cotton balls because, believe it or not, Jet and I meticulously counted out how many sounded the best. I mean, and you can push them in through the sound hole, like with something, to add them. But to take them out, you have to take the head off. So I don't know how many times we removed the head and stuff till we got the exact count that we thought was right. Again, we use the Remos. This is an 18-inch clear Emperor. I know 18-inch floor toms aren't necessarily the most common anymore. They can be a challenge to tune. But man, once you get them in tune, they just sound so good. To my ear, there's just nothing better than a vintage Tama set. I love the birch too, of the Superstars. I think the contrast of this maple snare, the Artwood maple snare, and the birch toms and kick just makes it really does. The snare is so snappy, and these have such a warm resonance, but they still have punch. That's the thing I love about birch. I mean, they're great to record with. They have a lot of warmth and a lot of tone, but they still have plenty of punch to cut through when you're playing live. Best of both worlds, in my opinion, is to have a maple snare and a birch kit. But who am I? I'm just a bass player. working on my drummer's drums. Because it's my extra job in rifle. Don't worry, Kenny has extra jobs too. And with his gargantuan size, he carries the heaviest of the heavies, so. And let's be honest, he has a truck. He has a truck. You can't be in rifle unless you have a truck. Actually, you can't be in rifle anyway, but, you know. Alright, let's see here. And even for what it is. I'm just going to go around and, just like I did the others, you know, try to get them about even, and then I'll tweak them. And I like just letting them sit and stretch just a little bit anyway. So by the time I'm done with this drum, the other one should have stretched some. I'm gonna let that sit there. I don't hate that. So let's go back to these and see how they sound. Again, I like to hear this in contrast with the kick drum. And then this might be a little high, actually, I think. Let's see. Pretty happy with that. And again, I want these to ring because we're going to record, and that's the way they sound best. Sometimes when you're sitting back here, you hear too much ring. It doesn't seem right, but in the context of the entire kit, when everything is ringing as far as your toms go and your kick drum, it really makes a good difference, a big difference. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hit like if you enjoyed this. Share it with your friends. This is, again, a wonderful drum kit. If you're looking for a high-end drum kit, I would suggest looking into maybe some vintage Tamas. They're expensive, but they're not necessarily as expensive as some other kits you can get, and they'll last forever. Especially with the Titan hardware. You can't go wrong. Thanks a whole lot. Listen to Rifle every day.